All right, today I went back to the shaft to get proper video of it at the Avondale, the Steuben shaft. Because I had my daughter with me 3 weeks ago, and I did not want to bring her anywhere near any opening, let alone a vertical haulage, even though it's backfilled, I'm not going to risk that. So here's compartment one and compartment two. Think of it as an elevator in a department store. That wooden beam there separated the two compartments. I'm pointing to it right now. Compartment one, compartment two. Route 11 was just so loud today. It was a weird day. Beautiful stonework and poured concrete. Some metal in the timbering that was part of the head frame. Some more metal, part of the head frame structure. Almost looked like an oil derrick, if you know what an oil derrick looks like. There's a wide view of compartment 1 and 2. You can see how it's sunken in. Could definitely tell that that was a vertical shaft. Again, those wooden beams were part of the superstructure. And in the distance, you can see, point to it right now, the Susquehanna River. This concrete slab had the hoists and the powering engine for each compartment. So they can lower and raise the cages. Down here there was pipes, copper, and cast iron back there. Remnants of a building. This would have all been enclosed. Engine house, it was called. Most likely. I haven't looked at the maps, but I guarantee it was called the engine house. Hoist house. So these holes, there's one there and one there that would have the hoist in it. There would be one per cage. There is shaft rope for lowering the cages up and down. Look at that. That is the actual cable for the shaft. What a cool angle this is. And it's neat that, in a sense, this is preserved. I mean, it's backfilled and all, but you can easily make out that this was, in fact, a shaft. Can't believe that that shaft rope is still there. Look at those cool sidewalls of poured concrete. Remarkable. A little slippery with all that moss. But this is where 108 boys and men went down to start their shift before 7 a.m. on September 6, 1869. And unfortunately would perish just a couple hundred feet down. About 3 hours later after going to work. Here are the mounts for where the hoist engines would have sat. It's almost like a basement to the engine house. Had pipes, electrical. Here are old school windows. They've been crushed in, unfortunately, and glass is gone. But this was a window pane. So there are the two holes in the poured concrete where the hoists for each compartment would have sat. Really remarkable that this is still here. Kind of surprised by that. So again, I'm just pointing there to where the hoist engine would have been. And this is probably for the head frame. Steel I-beams cut. Again, part of the head frame structure most likely. Neat. These little holes that are cylindrical had copper wiring coming out. There's the wire rope for the cages. See a little bit of copper in that. So again, just another overall view of the shaft itself. Compartment 2, compartment 1. It's a nice touch with the American flag. Just looking down the now backfilled shaft. Awesome stonework. Hand laid. Back in 1869, this would have been one big fireball. Scary stuff. In the video, I was talking about shaft cage hoists. If you want to see an amazing example of a vintage Wilkes-Barre manufactured Vulcan hoist that I found underground, please click on the first link in the description, and this will give you an idea as to what a hoist looked like and what it did. In this video, I was talking about shaft head frames. Unfortunately, the Steuben shaft was scrapped. So if you want to see a great example of one of the last remaining shaft head frames that was intact, I did a video on it on my channel, and this will be the second link in the description. So please check that out. You should enjoy that. It's a pretty interesting video. This is not the Avondale shaft, but this gives you an idea what a shaft head frame looked like. This was just down the road from the Steuben shaft, and this was the Nottingham shaft. Compartment 1, compartment 2. Literally right down the road. This is from my postcard collection. Here is a shaft cage taking a group of miners down. And this is a 2-compartment haulage shaft, just like Avondale, 1 and 2. This is an interesting setup. 2 shafts at 1 breaker site. I'm wondering if this one was just for sending men down and that one was for sending equipment down. This is a cool setup. This appears to be a 4-compartment haulage shaft. That is 4 elevators in a row. Where the coal car is, that's the 2nd compartment. And there's a 3rd and there's a 4th to the right. This head frame to the far right of the postcard near Carbondale is the biggest one I ever saw. That would be a very deep shaft. This was called the Lehigh Valley Coal Breaker in Wilkes-Barre. Look at this shaft head frame. Just gargantuan in size. Here I'm pointing to it. What a beast. So these 2 collieries were just down the road from Avondale. The Washington Breaker and the Nottingham. There I'm pointing to the shaft. So this was the Prospect Colliery, Lehigh Valley Coal Company. This is where the new high school is built. And to the far right is the vertical haulage shaft. This is a great postcard. It's dated 1907 on the backside, but this image is from the 1800s. This is a first generation style wooden breaker. It's extremely primitive in design. You can see the horse-drawn carriage. Now this would have been closest to the Avondale shaft in construction too, I would imagine, because here is the shaft head frame, and this is all wooden except for the sheave wheels and the wire rope. It's completely made of wood. So that's exactly what the Avondale would have looked like. Now the Avondale had wooden boards going on the outside of the head frame, which protected it from the weather elements and also made it more airtight for ventilation. Here is the powerhouse to this breaker. But yeah, that is super old school. All wooden constructed head frame. No metal in that one. So if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to smash the like button and leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.